Have you ever wondered how leaders think and operate differently? Maybe you've seen a great leader make a decision and you're kind of second guessing it in the moment, only for it to actually make a huge impact later. Well, if that's the case, that is the purpose of today's video. I'm going to talk about the 3 different ways that leaders think and approach everything. And if you're ready, let's go. So as modern leaders, we're here to look at things differently. When it comes to our business, it's the difference between seeing it from an employee mindset versus a CEO mindset. When talking about our family, it's a difference between being a participant in the family and being like the father or the mother. It is a game changer when you start to see things differently. What I can tell you is that leaders approach decisions and really everything they do and see things through a different perspective. Now, I want to share with you 3 different ways that leaders think and operate. Now, what I have to say is the third one is by far my favorite, but if you don't do the first 2, it's going to not even matter. So stick around for those. Now, the first way that leaders think and act differently is they see things through their leadership lens. They see not only what it's going to do to impact them, but how it's actually going to have a ripple effect for the team. Now, most of the time when we first get started as leaders, we are action takers. We go out there, we take action, we produce results. But when you start to see things through your leadership lens, the things that you're doing, the actions that you're taking, the behaviors, what you're saying makes a much bigger impact. And when you realize that's the case, you can actually think things through before you decide, before you take those actions. And that's what leaders do. They don't only think about how is this going to impact me, they think about how is this going to impact the entire team. The second way that leaders look at things differently is they stop focusing on the small picture and they get more into the bigger picture. Here's the thing, it's very easy as a leader to get trapped into doing those day-to-day activities. But when you're doing those activities, you don't have the time, energy, or the space to see that things can actually make a bigger impact if you made a few different adjustments. But if you're constantly focusing on those small activities, you won't ever have an opportunity to see things in the bigger picture. So I want to give you an example here. Let's say you're focusing on one social media platform. You're focusing on Instagram, and you're going all in with Instagram. And you're not really looking at things from a bigger perspective in terms of like all of the other things you're doing. Maybe you have a podcast, maybe you have a YouTube, maybe you have a Facebook page. And if you were to take a bird's eye view, you'd be like, you know what? Actually, more time and energy into Facebook would actually produce more results in my business because that's primarily where things are coming from right now. And if you were too busy working in Instagram and you didn't even realize that you had a much bigger opportunity, you wouldn't even be able to see that because if you're working in the small day-to-day activities, you can't actually zoom out and see things from a global perspective. Now, yes, I talk about this in business, but this is also important in every area that we are a leader, whether it's come leading yourself, leading your family, leading in your career, and leading in business. You've got to take yourself out of the small day-to-day picture and take a much more bird's eye view. Now, the third thing, and like I said, my favorite of all, is really being able to empower other people to make decisions. It's raising up other leaders. I'm constantly thinking about ideas of like, how can I develop other leaders to do the things that I'm doing right now? Because what happens is when you help enough people get to where you are, you actually level yourself up in the process. What would it be like if you didn't have to do all of those activities that you're doing right now? Maybe some things you hate, maybe some things you're frustrated with, maybe some things that are not in your strength zone. But when you empower other people and you give them your best, don't hold back. But when you give them your best, it gives you the ability of not only duplicating and creating more leaders, but it also gives you the ability of doing those first 2 pieces, which is seeing things through your leadership lens, being able to see not only how it impacts you, but how it impacts others, and then getting out of the small and into the large. Really being able to see things from that global view. And you won't be able to do that if you're not developing other leaders. So here's my ploy to you. As a leader, it is your responsibility to multiply yourself into other people. Do whatever you can, give them your best information, and really help them along that process of mentoring them into the next version of themselves. There's never anything that could be further from the truth when it comes to thinking that if you give everybody everything, you're going to become obsolete. No, as a matter of fact, that is an important part of leadership. Now, if you've gotten this far and you've enjoyed this video, I want to share how leaders actually think of time differently. We really talked about today, like how they approach many different decisions that they make, many different ideas, many different concepts, and really how they have more of a bird's eye view. But did you know that leaders look at time in an entirely different way? If that's the case, if you've never even developed a time strategy that will be based off of your leadership lens, definitely hit up this video so that you guys can jump over there and really see how leaders look at that time. Time and energy is yours and your followers' most valuable asset, and really getting it under control will change the game for you. All right, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy these videos. Thank you very much for making it to the end. Stay safe out there and keep leading from the front. Bye, leaders.